Hey guys, Jason with Jason's Big Adventures, and as you saw the other day, I posted a YouTube short talking about a new lure order I had ordered from lurenet.com. I was watching some of Debo's fishing videos the other day. I really like that channel. If you haven't watched him yet, check it out. He's really good and pretty thorough on explaining stuff, and has some pretty good fishing videos. So I've always grown up fishing, and my dad and I used to fish a lot. My sister fishes, when she gets time. But I guess I've always kind of been an accidental fisherman, you could say. Still do. Rooster tails are my thing. Spinner baits and rooster tails. That's all I've ever thrown. I've recently been kind of trying to teach myself to use, some Carolina rigs and worms and plastics and things like that. But anyway, so not too long ago, my dad was up from Alabama for a visit, and he brought all of my kids one of these little Ozark Trails tackle bags. It has 3 plastic trays inside, couple pockets, and with the exception of my 12-year-old daughter, my 3 boys are a little smaller, and lugging around a tackle box just didn't seem like something that was going to be easy for them if we had to walk a little ways. So these bags have worked out great. I've set them up with a few lures in each of their little boxes, and then I put some necessities that we need. Fishing line, each one has some bobbers and some weights and hooks, and then I've got swivels and fishing line, different things, and in some of the pockets that they don't necessarily have anything in. So far it's worked out good. They can sling it over their shoulder and still have one hand to grab, move branches, whatever they need to do. And so he brought me one too. They were on clearance, so it's worked out well. So now when I go somewhere, like there's a couple of creeks here close by to my house I might run down to, even just walking, and I just take my little tackle bag instead of my huge Plano tackle box, and I've got 5 or 6, 7 lures in each of the 3 trays. That's worked out. So I just cleared one out, so I'm going to go ahead and get this open, and I just shuffled some stuff around to where I could open up, and I'm sorry that you're just staring at my bald head. So got this little tray. It comes with little plastic dividers. Like I said, I've got it divided up to about 9 spots, depending on how big some of my lures are. So let's get down to business here. I ordered, mainly, I saw Debo was using this. It is a Heddon. It's a feathered, you can see the feather here on one end. It's a feathered Super Spook Junior topwater baits. I don't have any topwater baits, so he had a discount code, he has a discount code. But anyway, he was really talking about this, and I was kind of learning, how to walk the dog and all that good stuff, topwater stuff. And I thought this looked pretty good lure. Obviously, he's using it catching fish, so I thought I'd order one too. He had a link to it in the description of that particular YouTube video, and turns out it was actually on sale. So while I was on LureNet, never been to that website before until then. They have a order $35 or more, get free shipping. And I thought, well, why pay $8, $9, $10, $5, whatever dollars to ship a lure when really I could use some more topwater lures. So I did. I ended up with 6 lures, and plus, he has a discount code, and I still got free shipping, and it came out well, I thought. So I got this. It's called Knockout Shad Color, and now that I've flipped it around enough, you may not be able to see it all that well. It is a LureNet custom paint shop color. I'm pretty excited to try this out. I really don't know much about topwater fishing. Like I said, I've always been accidental. I just cast a lure, and if I catch something, great. If I don't, which happens a lot, I don't. Also great. I've really started to find a lot more peace in just getting out of the house and going and standing by a creek and doing some fishing. I have a boat, but it needs floor and a bunch of stuff, so I very seldom get to get on a boat and go fishing. So, Knockout Shad, Super Spook Junior, Heddon baits. First one I've ever bought of my own, topwater. So I'm going to put that in this box here. I'll set it to the side for now. While I was on it, I got to looking, and I usually I'll look something up. I'll watch a couple videos on it, see what they think. So while I was there, I was kind of looking at frog type stuff, and oddly enough, I actually thought these were frogs until I got them here and realized they're not frogs. They're more like a plastic spoon or a little boat. Anyway, so this is the Heddon Moss Boss. I ordered 2 of them. I'm trying a couple of different colors. This one here, I actually forgot the color. It's kind of black with some goldish stuff. This one's the chartreuse one. They both seem to have pretty good reviews online, and the videos on YouTube, you know, everybody makes videos, and it seems like they work pretty well for what they are. And we've got a couple of small city utilities owned lakes here just north of town that are good for some bank fishing and stuff. And there are some kind of weedy spots and some lily pads. There's also a little lake just south of town here, close to my house here, that's good for kayaking and stuff, and a lot of lily pads. So I'm really excited to try these out. And the lily pads, I've seen good stuff on those. So that's 3. I also ordered, and you'll see kind of a theme here. I also ordered, and it's upside down in the box, but it's a Heddon poppin' image, topwater, kind of a popper bait. You know, you can walk it, jerk it a little bit. And if you can see there, this one is the baby bass color. You can kind of see the colors. I have this thing for lures that match the color of some other small fish. I don't understand why I do that, because when I'm fishing an area and there's a boatload of minnows, you'd think the fish would eat the minnow just as well as it would take my lure. So we're going to see how it plays out. Another one in a similar color I got is, it is also in baby bass. It's kind of hard to see. It's the Heddon torpedo, or baby torpedo. No, maybe it's just, yeah, it's a baby torpedo. You can see there, this one floats as well, has a little prop, and I believe it's supposed to mimic like a wounded bait fish, you know, something like that. So I'm really excited to try that. Yes, it's kind of the same color. And then some of the videos I've been watching lately, everybody's like, well, it's July and it's summertime and you really need bone. Well, I'm a bone head, and I didn't order anything in bone color. So I'll probably either order some more, maybe some similar lures, just different colors, and get some bone colored ones. Haven't really decided yet. I don't have anything real extravagantly colored except for a few real bright rooster tails. Last one I got here, and this one, because we have a lot of frogs around here, especially down Lake Springfield's a little lake down here. Not really a lake, they just kind of dammed up a small portion of the river. It used to be a cooling pool, more or less, for a coal-powered power plant that we've got here close to town. So I got this. This is the Heddon Chug'n Spook Jr. Pretty much same concept. It's topwater, it floats. You can walk this one like the Super Spook, but this one here, and it's hard to see, and I'll open these and we'll talk more about them as I'm fishing with them, but it's got the little concave mouth, you know, so it really spits water as you're walking that thing. Again, you know, everything is only what it's portrayed, but I've watched a lot of videos from some YouTubers that I really feel like they're being genuine. Debo's Fishing is one. Tyler's, I think, is the other one. Tyler's Real Fishing, another really solid guy. There's a creek guy. I'll post the names and the links to their pages in the description of this video. I've completely gone blank. It's something Creek Adventures, and he's over kind of eastern Tennessee, North Georgia area, and does a lot of creek fishing. I've really enjoyed him because we've got a couple of little creeks here around town that are within a mile or two of my house that I've actually had some pretty good luck last couple days down just creek fishing with a little 4'6" ultralight and maybe a size 5 spinner reel. And oddly enough, I have almost a complete set of every color and version made of the old Blade Dancers. So the Blade Dancer, I don't have one handy. Yes, I do. Hang on just a second. If you have not ever seen a Blade Dancer, I have a couple here in my little box. They came in several sizes, but this is a Blade Dancer. I forget who makes these. It's not Rapala. It's somebody. Anyway, they don't make them anymore. It was kind of, nowadays it's looked at as kind of gimmicky. Oddly enough, I've had pretty good luck with these. So very realistic tail. The colors are cool. Shiny blade. You kind of fish these maybe at a medium slow retrieve, and they seriously, just watch them in the water. This thing is just back and forth like this. and it looks like a fish swimming. It does a fantastic job, and I've caught several small bass on. I've got a one that's considerably smaller than this on that ultralight, and it works really well. Here's another one that's a little bigger than that one I just showed you, and it actually had a spoon. So they have the head, jig head, whatever you want to call it. It's actually a spoon with a hook through it, like that last one I had. I had this one, first time I ever casted this one though. The line broke. I guess it's some old line on my reel, and basically I casted it into oblivion at Fellows Lake. So it was this color with a spoon. They only come with one spoon, and then there's like 5 of the plastic lures in there. So I've just kind of jig headed this one up with should probably change colors on the jig head. Anyway, I had 3 or 4 colors of them, a couple of different sizes. The one I've got on the ultralight is a real small little guy, and I didn't even know that there were fish in this little creek by my house, because it's actually the outflow of one of the big sewer plants here, not far. It's the sewer plant's actually right here by my house, and a lot of the water that comes into that creek is either runoff from upstream, like after rains from the city, or the most of the outflow downstream of the sewer plant is from the sewer plant. But turns out I was down there the other day, waded in the creek. Yes, it's clean water. They actually have laws, and when they discharge from the sewer, it has to be like drinkable or something like that. Let me make sure that's plugged in there a little bit. So anyway, I was down there the other day for a couple hours. I'd never really been down to the creek portion. There's a bike trail that runs along, and I've walked and rode my bike by the creek, and you can hear it and see it. But I've never actually been down in the water. Excuse me. So the other day, I went down there. I borrowed the ultralight spinner. Is actually my daughter's, one of hers that my dad gave her. And I don't have one anymore, so I borrowed it the other day and went down and hit the creek. And so the creek is full of fish down there, very full of fish. I saw all kinds of stuff, bluegill and perch, lots of small bass. I would think as the farther south you go, which is downstream, probably the better it is until you get down around the mouth where it runs into the James River at. So I'm pretty excited to get back down there, and I'll have these with me, all my Heddon lures. I'm real excited about maybe ordering a few more of these in a couple of different colors. I don't know if I'll order the exact same ones just in different colors, but it probably wouldn't hurt to get maybe one more of each of like the Chug'n Spook and the Super Spook Junior, and maybe the Poppin' Image in a different color. I'll see. I'm kind of cheap, so I'm going to wait till they have some on sale. So that's where we're at the moment. I'm going to open these up, and really this is more of just an aimless rambling video, but it is primarily about the Heddon lures. So I'm hoping, my wife had knee surgery this morning, so she's kind of confined to the recliner upstairs, so I'm here today helping with the kids. I'm going to go ahead and open these up, though, while we're talking. And so what I've done is, the way the dividers were, and this is actually kind of small, I probably need to step up to a little bit bigger bag now that I've gotten used to this, and I may convert this one over to just maybe a little creek bag or something. I seriously have been fishing so much at random that I now just keep my pole and my little Ozark Trail bag here in my car, just in the car. And sometimes I sneak out of the house here an hour early, heading to work, and I'll just go hit a creek along the way. Wilson's Creek is the creek I was talking about that's right here by the house. It runs kind of from Midtown Springfield here, and again, it's kind of a runoff creek, but it also has water in it most of the time, because Springfield does have little springs and stuff that run into the city. And then you have some places that just discharge a little water, kind of all the time. There's some splash pads and stuff downtown. I think some of that water runs in there. So here's the Chug'n Spook out of the package. Again, I got this one in a frog color because we have a lot of frogs, especially down Lake Springfield where we kayak on the James River there. But I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it has a big rattle in it. So anyway, because of the size, I took the dividers out, and I'm probably going to that's the Chug'n Spook Junior. I'll put it, and I'm going to kind of group these by big and medium together. So let's put it, and we'll get the Poppin' Image out here. I'm super excited to use these. They seem to be very, maybe beginner friendly, I guess you could say, or easy to use. You know, there's a lot of it is the time of day you're going fishing and things like that. When the fish are biting, some people break it down to an exact science. Man, I just want to go throw a lure in and hope I catch something. A lot of it is just some kind of alone time to just fish and enjoy life. So here is that popping image. It's also got a feathered tail, 2 trebles, and here's there. It's got a rattle in it. That thing's pretty, and it looks just like a little baby bass of some sort. So there you can kind of see the mouth. Mouth is clear. It's topwater. It floats, but it's more of a popper. So I'm going to put that in here with that chug'n spook. And then I think my middle row there, I'm going to go with the Super Spook Junior. Get this one open here. This one's in a completely different, and I think Heddon's and Lure Nets kind of together. Completely different packaging. This thing's super pretty. Black, a little, what is that, fuchsia or kind of purpley there. You can see the belly, got a little orange on it, gold streak on top, and then the rest of it's actually clear. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera. And it has a ball in the back. It's also got a pretty feathered tail on it, and it is double treble. That's actually kind of hard to say. So I'm kind of curious to see how this works out, but I don't know. You know, I try to be a realist, and I'm not sure how gimmicky the ball, that bearing or whatever in the back, I don't know how much you're actually going to hear that in the water jerking it. Maybe enough. I don't know if fish, you know, biology's not my big thing, so I don't know if like fish can hear that or exactly what the plan is behind that. This one here, there we go. You got to get on that little loop. Oh, yep, hook myself. Good idea. Get on there. Now she's swinging a little free. Let me see if that one there. Anyway, I think just color and stuff alone, I really like that color. I think it's going to work pretty well. It's not bone, I know. And then I think with the Super Spook Junior there, we're going to put the old baby torpedo here. For some reason these packages aren't tearing open very well. Rocking my little, yes, this is an Ozark Trails Walmart knife. I got it as a kind of a stocking stuffer gift from my in-laws one year. They always get all the son-in-laws kind of the same thing. Very cool. And since my buck knife randomly, this one's got the little tab on the top, so you can flip it. You can flip it open. It works well. It's a smaller Tanto serrated. I like it. I keep this in my everyday, my little go pack I take into work every day. Half the time I use this thing for cutting up food at work, like if I bring a steak or something. This currently is my carry because my buck knife, the little piece you push there, you know, to loosen your blade to close it, has somehow unsprung itself, and it's a skeleton. I don't know. I've got to take it apart and figure it out. I've had that buck for almost 20 years, I think, and I really just like that knife. It's a little bit bigger than this one. It's heavier. Anyway, that's the one I keep clipped in my pocket. So here's that baby torpedo. And so it's kind of pretty. I like the coloring on it as well. So it essentially, as it comes through, I think this treble will kind of hang out, pull out a little bit. And then you've got this, if I can not stab myself, you've got this blade in the back that spins like a boat prop as you're retrieving it. And it's supposed to, and you can walk it too, I think. All the videos I've seen, that's usually what people are doing is walking. This one's pretty good for a steady retrieve. And that blade just spins. And it's supposed to mimic a kind of a wounded fish or a small bait fish on the surface. So that's going to go in there with the Super Spook Junior. That's 3 sections. So I've got popping image, chug'n spook in one, Super Spook Junior, baby torpedo in the other, and that leaves one long ways or slot left to put both my moss bosses in. So I'm going to put both the moss bosses in the same spot here. You know, I'm not entirely sure how well that camera's aimed. I do all my videos on the fly. If you haven't noticed, this isn't scripted. The only thing I do is like right now I've got my phone as my camera, and it's set up on a couple of small boxes to raise it up high enough, and that's it. Nothing fancy, nothing special, no gimmicks, tricks, fancy camera. I don't even know how to edit video all that well. I use my phone because it records in 4K and now 8K Ultra, and then the editing app I use, InShot, is a mobile app only. So here is the original Moss Boss. That's what it looks like on the front side. It's hard to see. Well, actually no, this one side is mostly all black, kind of sparkly black, and then down here you see some scaly, it's not textured, but just the way it's printed on there, it's kind of gold colored, and then a little bit of red up here at the swivel. It's got a tail, black tail, so the hook is actually screwed into the middle there, which looks like it would be replaceable if you ever tear one up, then it comes up. And this thing, I've watched a lot of videos on it, it actually acts kind of like a boat. It sets up, I'd say upside down, but the pretty face is down. It will sink if you throw it, let it set, but as you retrieve, it's quick to come right up to the top like a boat. And I've seen people work these things right over lily pads and brush and stuff with the hook being up. It will still get snagged if you're not careful because that hook is exposed. I believe these are 3.5 inch in length. Let me see. It is. No, I'm sorry. It's 3 inch. So these are both the number 515 size. They're 3 inch long, ½ ounce. Ought to work pretty good with my. I've got an Abu Garcia Major League Fishing Edition bait caster. Bait casters are new to me. I've always seen people use them. Never realized that there's actually a pretty extensive learning curve to figuring out how to use them, and then you have to change your spool tension and change your weights and stuff depending on the size and weight of the lure you're throwing. But once you've done it some, you kind of get the hang of it. It doesn't take much to make a quick weight adjustment and back your tension off a little or add some. So here's the other Moss Boss, same size, 3 inch, ½ ounce. It's the chartreuse color, I think. They come with these big, not actually a swivel, but it's the clip end. It seems to be better than just tying your line off to it because it allows some play. Same thing. It looks like a little boat. The inside is concave. That's where your screw for your hook is, and has a tail. This thing just rides along. The top you can just straight reel these in. You can probably walk a little bit. The thing is though, you've got to keep it moving to keep it up towards the surface, top of the water, because it will sink. It's not a floating bait. I know this because I've watched 100 YouTube videos on these things before I went and bought them. Just make sure it wasn't super gimmicky, and they seem to work pretty well. Once it's moving, it definitely stays in boat mode, what I call boat mode, where that's up like that. You don't want it to flip over because it'll snag. Anyway, I've got both of those in there, so let's see if I can hold this up well enough. You got the popping image, the chug'n spook, baby torpedo, super spook junior, and both Moss Bosses. Pop that dude closed. Get that feathered tail in there a little bit. And so this is going to ride just fine. Right there like so in my little Ozark trail. Again, I really think now that I've got the hang of using I've never used a bag, I always just carried a big heavy tackle box, but I've gotten to the point now where I don't even take this off when I'm fishing. I'm just standing on a creek bank, I've got it slung over his shoulder and kind of thrown behind me. If I need to change lures or grab a tool out of one of my pockets or something, I just spin it around to my front side, flip it open, do what I need to do, and keep going. And I don't even take this thing off. So this cool. Bag fishing is cool. I would like to go a little bigger now and maybe just keep this one. Well, that's what I'm doing now with it. It's kind of a quick, just on the go. It just happens to be in the car. But I may get rid of my regular old tackle box and just go to these bags. I think my dad has done that. And the bags and trays seem to be a lot better. I don't fish enough to really be that specific about what I do and how I do it, but I'm kind of getting to that point now where I'm going to start paying more attention to times that certain fish are biting. You know, they say bass will hit topwater early in the morning. Not really an early in the morning kind of guy. I usually work late evening shifts at my regular job. So I either get off at 11 at night or sometimes 1 or 2 in the morning. Getting up at 5 to hit the water's not always on my mind, but I'm thinking about maybe giving that a whirl coming up soon. Mostly bank fishing because, again, I don't have a boat. I may, maybe this fall, try renting a boat and just kind of going out for a few hours and boat fishing, but I don't do that very often, and I really don't like asking friends and people to take me, so I just don't. I've got a wife and 4 kids, and I think I do have a 1436 John boat that my daughter and my 2 older sons have taken out a few times. Of course, like any 9.9 2-stroke motor, I'm having some issues with it running, and I just haven't had time this summer to mess with it. So here pretty soon, I think I'm going to try to either get it to the shop, or I think it may be a fueling issue, get the John boat out and actually take it and go fishing this time, and see what happens from there. So that's a quick rundown. I guess, speaking of rundowns, I can show you everything I've got in my bag here while we're here. This was supposed to just be about the Heddon baits, but man, I'm a rambling fool. So you just saw I just put everything in here. That's all my topwater, and actually I've got quite a bit of room for some more lures. I have kind of another topwater box, I guess you could say. Not so much topwater as it is just not plastic. So here, you know what? Look here. Here is one of the Blade Dancer little bitty dudes. This thing is like an 1/8 or maybe a 1/16 of an ounce. This is what I have on that ultralight I was talking about. I keep a random spoon. This is an 1/8 ounce, just little Bass Pro Shops spoon. I've got 2 different rooster tails I keep in here. As you can see, one is, I don't know if it's actually the watermelon color, but kind of. It's also an 1/8 ounce, and it has one of those vibration type spinners on it. You know, it's shaped funny, so it vibrates in the water. Another one of my favorite little ultralight lures. And then I've got this yellow jacket looking little rooster tail. It is, I think this one's also an 1/8. No, this is a 1/16 ounce, real light. And then I keep just one kind of heavy weighted. It's a heavy head. This is a 3/8 ounce, I believe. It's just kind of a goofy looking minnow. I keep it in there. I don't know that it'll ever really do much. And then I've got 3 flicker shads here, and of course the treble hooks. You know, it's like Jenga. They've all gotten tied up. You can see this one here. This one's real pretty. It's a Storm flicker shad. Or exactly what size it is, but it's probably somewhere around maybe 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce, somewhere in there. I've got another one here. This is another Storm flicker shad. It's pretty old school. This one has been around a while. It's the kind of shiny silver. Man, me and these treble hooks. Shiny silver there. And then the one that's actually my favorite color-wise is this one here on top, and it's got some rattles, a couple little balls in it rattles. I like it. It kind of has a perch looking color, and it actually floats pretty well. And then you can see in the mix here, I've got the old tried and true diving crawdad, because what fish doesn't love a little crawdad action? And we have a lot of crawdads here in Missouri. We call them crawdads. Some people call them crawfish, crayfish, whatever. It's crawdad. And then I've got this little fella here that I've actually never used, and I don't remember buying this, so I'm not sure. That's a good place for it. It's on the floor, right? Not sure where it actually ever came from, or maybe it was just something somewhere. But anyway, you get the gist of it. It's got some beads up here. I don't know what they actually do, and then it's got spinning a blade on it on a swivel, and then a pretty good tail. And then it kind of has some kind of little plastic bug body. Again, I've never tried that. It's real light, so a lot of this stuff would be for my ultralight, which I actually don't have. an ultralight. I'm just borrowing my daughter's. I need to get one. And then last but not least, the third tray in here is just all plastics. I've got that bigger blade dancer we just looked at earlier, the other blade dancer, the plastic bait on a jig head. Then your usual stuff. We got the watermelon colored salamander looking speckled fella there. I've got a couple of these. It's kind of a purpley blue color with some bass boat greenish metal flake in it, salamander. Use those for kind of darker, muddier, murky waters, or maybe some deep. And then here's one that's similar colored. That's, I don't even know what that's supposed to be, but it's got some ugly tail on it. I've actually caught a few decent fish off of this caterpillar looking thing in that color. And it's got one of these like 3/8 ounce dark green speckled watermelon colored jig heads on it. This one here is just one of them like kind of fat grub looking things with a tail. It's I believe this one's actually green pumpkin. I haven't fished it yet. Some random minnow that I think was part of one of those kits that's supposed to come with like some blades or whatever, but I just jig it around the rocks, like on the bank if there's some big rocks. And I've got a couple small fish off of that. Have another bigger salamander looking thing here that apparently has gotten hot and melted. So I'll probably take that out of the arsenal. And then here's another caterpillar bodied salamander in a black and blue color. Never really caught anything on it, but it seems like it'd be pretty good for some deep water. And then the grub, black and blue grub with a flashy chartreuse or kind of fluorescent yellow tail. It's on a little, I think these are 1/8 ounce jig heads. And I think everybody's had some of these in their life. Same thing, little grub. It's that kind of bright yellow color. Then I've got just kind of a worm, and this one's the green pumpkin color with some red specks in it. Seems like it would probably be pretty effective, but I've not really fished it either. And then some random minnow here that come out of another kit, and I don't really understand it, but it's got, almost looks like a little baby walleye or something. It's got a treble. This one actually has like the weighted jig head inside the plastic bait, so it was pre-rigged with a single hook on the back. Paddle tail. Never tried it either. This is just stuff that color-wise looks like it would probably work, and all of the little minnow-shaped baits, the tails and the movement seems to be pretty accurate. A lot of it now is I just need to figure out what to throw and when and what weather and what water conditions and whatever. I've mentioned I just go fishing. I don't get too much into the whole science side of it, but I'm going to try to do that now. So that's all I've got for this video. I know it's kind of just aimless wandering, and I'm really good at that. And mostly I was just checking out that mic to see how it helps the audio. So I hope you enjoy. I do have a chest rig, and while I was down here kind of goofing around, I did actually find the clip piece I've been missing, so I can clip it in, put my GoPro on my chest rig, and I'll start just randomly filming my outings. If you've watched my kayak video, the hour and 40-some minute long one, only because the battery went dead, you guys got lucky there. That was the chest rig I was talking about. I have it. I couldn't find any more of these clips, and it's missing the clip mount that goes in the plate. Found one down here while I was down here, and I'm going to go up and throw that in the camera bag, so I've always got it. And then that way next time I go kayaking or whatever, I'll have my chest rig on for my little GoPro session, because after watching that kayak video back, holy cow, I told you guys I would try not to make you car sick, and I probably did. I didn't realize how much I would watch myself paddle, looking back and forth every time I put a paddle in, so I'm going to try to quit doing that. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm hoping maybe this weekend I can get out and hit the creek again, and we'll try to get some footage recorded. And I don't know if I'll catch any fish, but you can at least enjoy the scenery and the nature, being kind of right here in town, but still, pretty serene and peaceful. So again, I'm Jason, Jason's Big Adventures. Catch you guys later.